morning, Austin. Welcome to the Fans View KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent. To my left, Jamal January. Across the room, driving the bus, Douglas Washington. Douglas, how you doing this morning?
Doing great, sir. Thanks for asking.
Good.
Doing great.
No Corey Mose this morning. Corey is off gallivanting at the NABJ.
Isn't he always? He disguises it as a work trip.
Exactly,
but,
yes.
I don't know. It seems like he enjoys these gallivants a little too much. Chicago. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
This is the time to go.
Yeah, that's true.
I unfortunately have gone a lot over the years, and sometimes for work, and it's always like during the winter.
Really?
But I've gone once or twice during the summer. What a great time to visit. Have you been to Chicago?
I've been there only for I've flown through it a number of times.
Yes.
I've only been there one time where I spent the night.
Yeah.
And it was in the dead of the winter. I went up I was interviewing for a job, and I had a great dinner. It was a nice evening out, and then overnight I get a text message at like 3 in the morning that my 11:50 a.m. flight had been canceled, and they had rebooked me on a 7:20 a.m. flight. And I was staying in like a Hampton Inn or something like that, and there was a bank right across the street, and had one of those time and temperature signs. And so I got up and I just looked out because I couldn't find my watch. I looked over there, and it said -9 degrees, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be fun.
No.
So
it's not fun listening to you talk about that. Jamal, do you ever had a chance? I mean, you were a track athlete. There had to have been maybe an invitational you went to. There's no WAC schools up in those parts. But
I have not been to Chicago at all. I mean,
I recommend you go, sir.
When I was in the WAC conference with ACU, Chicago State was in our conference.
Oh, okay. Well, then I had no idea.
I've never been up there. I know some of the basketball teams have been up there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Never been to Chicago. Chirac.
I don't want to steal, but let me steal. Why are we talking Chicago, gentlemen? Caleb Williams.
yeah.
With all that offensive talent that's been brought in. Should we jump on the bandwagon now? Because I'm hearing comparisons. Stephen A. Smith is going out there saying we got to judge him different than C.J. Stroud. I'm kind of curious on where you guys are feeling, because I'm starting to see a little. I got a lot of Chicago friends, so I don't want to just. Of course, my circle is talking about Chicago a lot, but I'm just kind of curious. You guys, you got any updates? You're on the bandwagon? You're off the bandwagon?
No, we're 1 week into preseason.
I say we sure are.
I mean, no. I mean, he was in street clothes last night. So
Yeah.
I'm I am not going. Hey, look, if you're on Fox Sports 1 or ESPN, your job is to talk about whatever they want you to talk about that drives ratings. But no, I am not going to talk about a rookie quarterback. Actually, I guess they're actually 2 weeks into camp because Houston and Chicago had to report early.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not ready. No, he didn't even know where his locker is yet.
But, a lot of our listeners are forced, like you said, because they're watching Fox Sports, they're watching ESPN, so they're hearing about him, #1 pick. So, I just thought maybe we'd give them our opinion on it all. So, y'all heard Travis. Y'all heard him. He says, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
He's still a rookie, and Travis hasn't seen anything yet.
Yeah, I agree with Travis. I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to dog him yet either. But it should be interesting to see what he can do this season, especially with the weapons that he has.
I'm shutting up about him.
Yeah.
Travis shut me up last season about this guy because I wanted to make fun of him because he's fun. I just want to make fun. I mean, that's the jock mentality. Is what we do, right? Typical guy stuff. What we do. And Travis was like, well, he may care a lot, and I was like, crap. So then but as an adult, the most I've cried is when it comes to seeing my wife's achievements, and then now my oldest daughter and her sports achievements, and man, I get into it. So I guess I gotta shut up.
Nah, well, hey, we got plenty of time. We're going to talk about a lot of NFL over the next several weeks.
Yeah.
want to get started on something we probably won't spend a lot of time on, but let's use this first segment. Let's talk some Olympics, right?
Oh, yeah.
The first week of the Olympics dominated by gymnastics. The second gymnastics and swimming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The second half will be track and field heavy. Yeah. Sha'Carri Richardson runs a 10.94 this morning, easily qualifies for the next round.
Yeah.
But things going on today. Men's soccer team made the quarterfinals. They're down 3-0 to Morocco. It appears they will not be advancing. 4-0 now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, well.
It's over.
Yeah, so not a I want to say, so men's soccer is different from women's soccer in the Olympics. It's the under 23 team.
Really?
Yes, it is not the national team in soccer. That's why you don't see Spain and Argentina and Brazil necessarily. It's the under 23 team.
Okay.
And countries are allowed, and I don't know the exact rules, don't hold me to this, but they're allowed to bring up to 3 players that are a part of the regular men's national team down to play with the U23s.
Yeah.
But this is meant to be the amateur phase of soccer. The World Cup is a different animal. That's where the money's made for the national teams. But yeah, for the Olympics, they go with the under 23 teams. On the women's side, it is the national team.
Yeah.
But on the men's side, it's different. So it does give other countries a chance, like the U.S., to make a quarterfinals. Because it's not just being dominated by the traditional giants of soccer. So, but we do have a caller this early, so we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. Hey, caller, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Hey, Mr. Oklahoma, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm calling early, man, because I want to. Y'all talking about Olympics, man. I want to see this basketball, between these other countries,
Yeah.
But I have a question I want to ask you guys. Is Stark getting a divorce? The football coach for Texas, he's getting a divorce.
Yeah. You calling here for relationship talk? A sports program to talk about his personal life? Mr. Oklahoma, we don't do soap operas here.
No, I'm just asking. I just want to make sure that I hear it right.
Yeah, he is.
Is he getting divorced or what?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he and L'Oreal have announced that they are getting a divorce. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm on that team, though, I'm mad. Coach got a lot of free time now. We gonna win the Natty. We gonna win the national championship, Oklahoma, man.
But you know what? I think Stark is doing the right thing because he don't want to get mixed up like that basketball coach had a problem with his girlfriend or wife. So he's doing the right thing because he don't want to get fired.
Mr. Oklahoma, are you intentionally or unintentionally confusing his name with Tony Stark or Iron Man? Are you putting a T in there for Sark?
Well, no, I'm saying the football coach. I haven't said, man. Yeah. It's kind of difficult for me to say it.
Okay. No, it's great, man. It sounds amicable. You could look. For them, they could go the other way with it, and it could be a distraction. And I like that they both prefer to have this amicable. They want to be friends. I saw a social media post about it from either one or two, probably the wife. I think I follow the wife. I don't know if hey, Coach, I'm sorry. I don't know if I follow you.
Right.
But, it's a shame. Hey, you're married to the game.
I don't want to stay on that. I was watching this morning. Yeah. They already had the semifinals in the track and field.
Yeah.
In the 100.
In the 100 already?
So, they already started this morning. I saw some of this morning.
I think you mean the quarterfinals, Mr. Oklahoma.
Not yet.
Yeah, the quarterfinals,
Okay.
Hey,
but they're going to have the finals tomorrow in the 100 for the women.
I still don't think that early. I think it's What's it?
Quarters.
Okay.
Well, first you got the people that kind of like the play-in version.
Yes, sir.
You know, the people from those a little smaller countries.
Yeah.
You know, trying to run in to get into the quarterfinals. Then after the quarterfinals, you got the semis, and after the semis, you got the finals. So that's usually how it plays out.
But Mr. Oklahoma, I'm curious though. So we were talking off air just briefly here. Jamal, you know, he follows that track. You know, for those who don't know, Jamal January here ran Division I track.
Scratch 'em cats.
Over at Abilene Christian University in the WAC.
Right.
And we were talking, you know, the Jamaican-U.S. rivalry, it's a thing, even though I don't know why such a small country is a world dominance like that. But if they don't have the previous Olympic champion and they're not sending the one who was there, she's not Shericka Jackson. So Jackson's not running. Those are two of the top women of all time that are not going to be there. Are we gonna fall asleep during these finals, just watching Sha'Carri just blow it out the water, Mr. Oklahoma?
No, I'm not. I never fall asleep on track and field. No, sir.
Okay.
Because you know you have a lot of new talent coming up. And I like to see a lot of new talent coming up.
Okay.
Because I'm an ex-track runner myself. Mm-hmm. You know, because I ran track and all that. I played football. I played basketball. I played baseball, softball.
Hey,
so,
Mr.
you know, I'm an ex-athlete myself, but I'm not going to fall asleep on none of this because they got this. I'm waiting on, in a few minutes, waiting on this basketball. Like from these other two countries.
Yes, sir.
I think it's Canada and somebody else playing about 11 o'clock, you know.
Mr. Oklahoma.
So I'll be up all night watching different sports, you know what I'm saying? So I don't fall asleep.
Hey, does Oklahoma, any Sooners, since we're talking female racing, any Sooners running? Y'all got any Sooners?
I don't think they qualified.
Well, I think the Longhorns got somebody.
You know, but they're not the only ones. There's a lot of schools, you know, women didn't qualify for different schools. So
no, people around here and your neighbors, we don't care about that because we all got one. We got Julian Alfred, you know the name, and she's of Longhorn fame. Yep. Just want to remind you, Sooner Boomer, Boomer Sooner, Mr. Oklahoma. I don't even know what else I can call you.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, I know. The rivalry's great. What else? Hey, I want to ask you, since you were talking basketball then, if the USA gets a #1 seed, everyone seems really excited about that, Mr. Oklahoma. Are you a fan of, you know, publicly stating, I got to get the #1 seed? Are you a fan of that?
Yeah. The men and the women.
Yeah.
I'll be watching both of them.
But do you need to say it, though? Does it need to be said?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, it needs to be said.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, you know, we want the #1 seed, you know. And I'm going to tell you, I've been watching, you know, I want to switch it right quick. They've been talking about this college football. I was watching it last night. And, you know, they said Oklahoma's number 17, and they was mentioning Kansas in the Big 12.
Yeah.
They mentioned West Virginia in the Big 12.
Yeah.
They mentioned Oklahoma State in the Big 12 and Kansas State in the Big 12. You know, because he started from 25 and went up to 11.
Yes, sir.
So I guess later on sometime this week I'm going to go from 10 all the way up to the first, you know. So they said these teams I mentioned, they're gonna be pretty tough in that Big 12, man.
17. That's me yawning, Mr. Oklahoma. 17. Y'all are ranked 17. Why even put you in the top 25?
I don't know, man. I'm just doing what I hear, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be ranked because, man, I'm not sure about Brett Venables.
No.
I'm not sure about him because that bowl game we had last year, man, we just got blown out.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to make fun of you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to make fun. You know, 17 is not top 5, obviously. And so I'm just trying to poke you. You're doing a good job of sidestepping most of my pokes today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but see, I know how to take it. I know when people poking me, you know. But it's all good.
Yeah, no, you're floating like a butterfly today.
But don't count us out, man, because we could surprise some teams. You know what I'm saying?
No. Who you want to surprise?
We could surprise some teams.
How? You got the talent?
I don't know.
See,
bro.
that sounds like hope.
I don't know.
You talking about hope? We talking about X's and O's, like real talent, 5-star players.
They got surprised last year by Kansas. I remember watching that game.
Next Oklahoma, we're not supporting you on that. The hope.
Okay, well that's cool.
But hey, if it happens, there'll be a great little
my thoughts,
movie 20 years from now. The team that no one thought could do it, that did it. What else you got?
Well, hey man, did y'all watch some of that football game last night? The Bears and Texans.
Hall of Fame game. We are familiar with the fact that Brett Rippon comes from a bloodline. Did good. Unfortunately, the game was stopped due to weather. What did something? It's preseason, so I can't say we're gonna be overly excited.
What do you think of the new kickoff?
So what?
What do you think of the new kickoff rule?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, really, I didn't watch it because none of the starters was playing, so I figured like the third string and second string playing, so I didn't even watch it, man.
Yeah. I saw one kickoff.
I mean, I will, I will watch it, I will watch it, but preseason, when the starters not starting, man, it's kind of boring, so I watch something else.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, but Travis, before I hang up, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Is Dallas still America's team?
Whoa,
I said Travis. I mean, because
So let me answer.
just like Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
that's the steel curse, right?
I will say this, that they still drive ratings more than any other team does. So
yes, sir.
They still sell a lot of merchandise, although they're not always number one like they used to be. Right. Especially when you have Tom Brady and the Patriots, and then you have superstars like Patrick Mahomes step up and things like that. But are they? If you judge teams on market share, right? Let's kind of go market share. Back when Tex Schramm dubbed them America's team, and back during the late 70s and into the early 80s and those teams, and then maybe the Troy Aikman teams, they had the highest market share. And so, I would say that they were America's team back then. Market share is much more divided out evenly than it ever has been in the NFL, I believe. I think you have more marquee names dominating as opposed to just teams. America's team is still a nice moniker for them to carry. They do still drive ratings. At the end of this season,
That's right.
At the end of this season, I don't care what metric you look at. If you look at TV ratings, 6 of the top 10 games are going to be games that the Cowboys played in. It's not a one-way street. They have a dance partner, and Philly versus Dallas is going to have big ratings. And look, if you look at their schedule, I think they have like 6 prime time. 6 prime time games this season. I mean, it's just so from that standpoint, they're still America's team as far as that goes.
That's right. Because some names they give a team, man, it's like the steel curtain Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You cannot take that name away.
Yeah,
and I
that's
say
right.
Dallas is still America's team.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good weekend.
All right, Mr. Oklahoma, we appreciate it as always. 512-836-2887. You can get your calls in as well.
So I looked it up, and a few survey companies have taken those stats, and the most searched is the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
But in South America and internationally, it's Kansas City Chiefs. And I also think that Kansas City is closing the gap. And I hate to say this, Travis, it has a little bit to do about Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, there's probably I wouldn't doubt it. I mean that's fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean
that's part of it. A big part of it.
yeah, for sure. But no, it's when you overall look at the landscape of football, I mean, there's still domestically The Cowboys still drive a lot of, and by the way, when you do web searches and things like that, there's a lot of people that hate the Cowboys that search them. So and there's a lot, but there's a lot of people that hate the Cowboys that tune in to watch them lose.
Yes, sir.
And so it is. I'm not saying everybody. I do believe that those 70s and early 80s era Cowboys had a much wider gap between themselves and the rest of the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think the gap is so close and so tight nowadays that a moniker like America's Team is just a nice moniker to have, but it's a racehorse.
Yeah.
And there are like 6 or 7 teams that are right there in popularity. The 49ers and the Patriots, because of their history and heritage, have solidified themselves as part of that top dog section with the Cowboys. I think the Chiefs, the Packers, franchises like that are always going to be right there in it. So
I'm kind of curious if you guys find this. I've flashed through a couple of them, but what I've seen of the top 4, Green Bay is pretty high. Mm-hmm. But there's one above Green Bay that I'm just kind of curious if you guys would have thought it would have been them. The Buffalo Bills.
Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Really?
That fan base is insane.
I'm sure.
Breaking tables
I'm
at the game and stuff like that.
It's a party.
It's a party.
They're shirtless in blizzards.
I do think there are people that aren't from the New York or Buffalo area that fan base has made them a fan of the Buffalo Bills as well.
Oh, I was going to say for New Yorkers, the Giants just keep pulling your heart out and stomping on it.
Yeah.
Just go right up the road for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I think I would want to do that if I was a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Those Giants, it's ugly.
There's a lot of quirky things. Obviously, the table jumping and the being shirtless in the stands at absurdly cold games. Sticking to the fact that you have an outdoor stadium when Minnesota and franchises like that have gone to indoor stadiums. And then also, this has come to light over the last several years. They're an extremely sort of gracious fan base as well. They will kind of go into social media attack mode on an opponent, and then they'll donate to their charity, and they'll donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to their charity. They are quirky in that way, where they just want to have a good time and have fun, and so they will kind of attack people. But then they're like, okay, our fun's done. Now, hey, so and so's charity is this. We invite everyone to donate to it, and they'll drive their charity dollars up. So
not bad, Bills fans. You guys are highbrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. We got a lot of people listening. I would love for some people. We got someone up in Seattle listening right now. And we got someone up there in that New York area. I got to zoom in there. So I'd be very curious if someone wants to call in, 512-836-2887, and tell us what your picks are for some of those America teams, the most popular.
Yep. It was just curious about growing up, I was always like, I thought the Patriots would be considered America's team.
Yeah.
It's what a shock.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get to. We need to get to a break. We're going to come back on the other side. There was a couple more things Olympics-wise that I had no idea Mr. Oklahoma was going to call in the first segment. I thought we'd be able to get Olympics talk out of the way in the first segment. There's a couple things. 3v3 basketball. We want to talk a little bit about that. The disappointing start there. But let's get back after this break right here on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. 88.7. You're listening to the Fans View. Travis Kent alongside Jamal January. Driving the bus, twisting and tweaking the dials, Douglas Washington. And we've got a caller on the line. So we will jump right back into the calls. Hey, caller, you there? Hey, caller, go ahead. We still got you?
Ooh.
Sir, are you there?
I think we lost him.
Oh, no.
Nope, hold on.
That's me.
Caller, you there? All right, I think we got you punched up now. You there?
Yes.
All right, go right ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, KAZI 88.7, Austin's Black Sport Network. Except for D, which he's giving me with that name, and then he's Captain America on his bucket list, and now he's Brother Washington, and then I heard he's from Virginia, and I've been blanking Brooklyn about him. So we'll get to that. Anyway, we're going to play some grown man game. Who is that does that grown man game? Ain't he there?
Terrence. He walked out. He walked out when we walked into the studio. His show is on Thursdays from 4 to 7, but he did sit in on the morning grind prior to us.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna hang out with you guys for a minute because somebody said his name. And I'll be paying. What's is that my boy Travis Trent? Who is that?
Next to Travis is Jamal January.
How you doing, sir?
Jamal January, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How
Travis,
about you?
You get on my nerves lightly. But Brother Washington, you hear me? He got 3 names. I said, and then the reason I forgive him, because I said, well, God got 3 names, 3 in 1, Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So that's how I had to deal with that. You see what I'm saying? My boy Oklahoma got 2 names, and I ain't going to that name, because that's at him home. And by the way, thank you, Oklahoma. My young men are very interested in what you say and what you're doing. So in the spirit, you on my team, all of you are, because the young men that I minister to, I'm not the coach, I'm like the minister coach. They come off the play, practice field crying. That's my cue. See? Oh, well, get better to play this, that, and the other. Then I get to impute the word of God in there, and they retain it while they out there on that field. Brother Washington, I'm going to get with you in there about that. I want to volunteer for you. But anyway, now, you leave my Giants alone. That's the first one I call. I listen every Friday, y'all. I have not missed no Friday. I say, okay. I'm going to put up with him when he did the event, and he tried to rap, and I said, oh, Lord, we got to call Brooklyn. But I should have been calling anyway, yeah, my Bills, y'all, we got a shot at it this year. That's what I'm going to say from the beginning. I watched that game yesterday. I agree with you all. It's too early about this quarterback in Chicago. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
It is too early. So I applaud y'all for that much sense. At least Dapper D got that much sense. I didn't think he had no sense at all. Especially when he talked about my Giants. So now, gentlemen, I just want to give a shout-out to all of y'all and what y'all doing. And the callers, Oklahoma especially, that's my man. But he spits, and I like to let the kids hear what he talks about because they're gaining knowledge, not only from you all. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it's about, the unity of KAZI. And I want it to be mentioned that this is the 42nd anniversary, and I pray, and I hope for God's mercy and grace, that this sports show be on the next 80th anniversary. So I'm giving a shout-out to that. Austin Black Community Network, 88.7. You know what I'm talking about, that sports network. All right, y'all be blessed. Say y'all prayers and keep it going, guys. Brother Washington, we looking for you.
I love it. It's nice. It's nice to be desired. Have a good one.
Yeah. All
right, we appreciate it as always. Yeah, so I want to get a couple of Olympic things real quick. Mm-hmm. So three versus three basketball. Jimmer Fredette is injured for the men's team. So look, 3v3 is new to the Olympics. Last Olympic cycle was the first time it was included. It's a FIBA sport now. They have tournaments around the world. U.S. men and the U.S. women both ranked number 2 in the world coming in. But there are a number of teams that actually don't really compete in some of these international tournaments that they have, but they qualify. And so I think there's a big gap between those rankings because the women are struggling. The men haven't gotten a win yet,
and that's embarrassing.
And like I said, Jimmer Fredette's injured, so they're having to play the entire game. They played her 21. If you haven't watched it. But it's just been a little disappointing watching those two teams when you compare it. It was funny last night. I was watching the U.S. men were playing like Serbia, I think, and it was a close game. the Rick Barry's kid was firing it from the outside. He was nailing 2-pointers, I guess, in that game. But it's and when you talk about it overall, it's Derek White was sitting in the stands. I'm like, what? Put Derek White in the uniform. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Literally, this could have been an easy gold medal for some of these NBA players just going, hey, I didn't make the USA team. Let me just go ahead and play this 3v3 tournament. And give me a gold medal.
So, all right, so we have another caller coming in, so we're going to hit the phones again. Caller, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, go right ahead.
This is Keith.
Hey, Keith, what's going on, man?
It's going. I let you all finish talking about your 3-on-3. I wanted to talk about the Cowboys.
Okay.
I thought Giants. Okay.
You want to talk Cowboys?
Yeah, I want to talk Cowboys.
That's a shot.
Especially the traffic.
Okay. All right, Travis, we went pretty hard for an extent. I was defending Dak last week, and I thought most people this week would be like, we don't want any more, but hey, I'm here for it. Yeah. It's a popular team. Travis, I'll defer to you.
What do you want to talk about, Keith?
Well, it's come out lately. You know how the Cowboys seem to be having trouble signing people. Every year they end up starting out slow and then ending up paying more than they seem like they should pay. And it's my opinion that Jerry Jones is out of touch with how to negotiate and how to do contracts. And they've come up with the fact that they are the least spending team. Even though they are the most valued team, they spend the least amount of money in terms of filling the roster around their stars. That's one of the things. And so they don't come up with good contracts early on where they manipulate the salary cap, and they either like with Lamb, they're going to probably either overpay him because they're so late in the game, or and Dak they're definitely going to probably let walk, I would think. What do you think about the fact that at the Dallas Cowboys problem is that Jerry Jones still wants to run it like a mom and pop store?
Yeah, I mean,
instead of like a corporation.
Well, I'll ask this question: were there any other general managers in the NFL that missed the first day of training camp because they were in a paternity case?
I was gonna go, Travis. You're on it. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, no, because most of those guys are too old, and they've kind of squashed it years ago. But no.
Are there any other general managers in the NFL who spend as much time on football as they do trying to book Taylor Swift concerts at their stadium?
Yes.
And try to book the World Cup at their stadium and the next Jake Paul fight at their stadium.
All that.
I would say no.
Exactly, and that's the problem, right? I mean, it's
exactly. Exactly.
Look,
a lot of the like the quarterbacks and the receivers and whatnot, most of them are locked up already.
Right.
And the ones that signed earlier, they set a bar, but the bar is not going down at all.
Right.
It ain't going down at all. And the Cowboys did it with Zeke. And Dak the last time, and they end up with these atrocious contracts, but they're not manipulated well in the front end, signing bonuses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess it's been somewhat of a revelation to me this week when they talked about how the Dallas Cowboys
in terms of football now, and you're right about, him doing all these other businesses and whatnot, and him wanting to be the spokesman and have his own radio show and not having a coach that can make an announcement, all kinds of stuff like that. He runs it like a mom and pop store.
Keith, I will say this. When you look up, if you Wikipedia Jerry Jones, it starts by saying he's a businessman. That's when he came from oil. Yeah. 12 of his first 13 wells hit, and the first well gave him $4 million. He bought that team for $150 million. He's now worth $13.9 billion. And when you think of all of that,
billion.
Yeah,
B with a B.
Oh yeah, that was a B. That was a B as in Bravo, billion. I think he's a business man. I honestly think that's how he sees himself. I think he's also too smart to admit that. I think he's a WWE owner, and not to be offensive.
No,
I just think I was looking at he owns AT&T Stadium, and so to your point, how many other owners own the stadium? Some are using funds from other places.
Yeah,
so he's getting all that money there. Bring in professional racing, the Spartan races, the motocross, the rodeos, the high school football. I mean, here in Texas, isn't that where you want to play? You want the state championship to be there. You want to play there. He's Texas through and through, and there's money in Texas. I kind of get it. I'm not a Cowboys fan, though.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate, Travis, you impressed me, sir, because even though you're a fan, heck, a diehard and a true Texan, bro, you read it. Like, you're not blinded by who he is. And I just think he's just playing the business, and I think he's playing it right. He's still the #1 most searched Google NFL team, and I think he's doing a great job.
But I can tell you so, and I try to say this as honestly as I can, right?
Yeah.
The Cowboys have won 12 games 3 years in a row,
which is excellent.
Exactly.
I would love to have that.
And this is.
As a Jet fan, I would love to have that
too. And this is the least interested in the preseason I've been in a long, long time.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's turned into a circus. It is more of about the show than it is the results.
Do you think that's intentional?
If somebody offered Jerry Jones, said you're going to win 3 of the next 5 Super Bowls, but you're not allowed to do another interview. Would he take it?
No,
he would not.
I don't.
He would
so.
not.
No, I don't think he would.
And for all that he says,
right?
Yeah, for all that he says he wants to win, he's more about Jerry Jones than he is about anything else.
So, Travis, if he strings this out, we talk about him. We keep the Dak talk. He knows he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes, so he's gonna get this Dak talk. And if he signs and gives him $65 million a year, and he's the most highest paid, we'll still talk about him and his quarterback. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think this could be an intentional circus, to use your words.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it sort of is. I mean, in a way, we play right into Jerry's hands.
Yeah.
I think in the back of his mind, he doesn't see failure in anything that he does. The whole thing with the paternity suit and the gate agent and all that kind of stuff and all of that. I mean, a lot of people would be embarrassed and they would stay away from the public light. It hadn't changed him a bit.
Oh my God.
He's Teflon Don, man. It just bounces right off of him.
Yeah, you're right. I would lay low.
Yeah. So.
But he's like you said, he is a businessman,
right?
And he's about Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones making money. But but I'm thinking about the football in general. I'm that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
That as a football, if I were a Cowboy fan, I would expect him to hire somebody
yeah.
that can not run it like a mom and pop store, but hire somebody to run the football operation. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, and you know, Jerry said this, and he actually did an interview just a couple of weeks ago where he discussed it as well, and he said, you know, the deal I made with you, by the way, it's a one-sided deal. The deal I made with you when I bought this team was that I was going to be the one calling all the shots. And I'm like, well, we didn't make that deal. Can I say no? I said no back then. I was like, but the long and the short of it is that every owner of every franchise has the final say. But they all also have a general manager who runs things, and then they tell the general manager, yes, we can pull the trigger on that, or no, we can't.
Exactly.
He can still call all the shots, but he is shortchanging the organization by having less football people on board than other organizations have, and that's because Will McClay, the head of their scouting department, is really running things as a general manager. He just doesn't have the general manager title, but Will McClay doesn't have the size staff that some of the other general managers around the league have, because Jerry Jones calls himself the general manager, and it takes away from it. And Jerry, look, playing lineman at Arkansas back in the '60s doesn't mean that you really know football. And I'm not saying he's ignorant about football, but he knows as much or as any of us necessarily do, but it doesn't mean you're a great football person. And he's proven over the years that he has shortcomings. Look, we can do analysis on the mistakes they made in the past, passing on Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And so he's not going to make that mistake again, so we make sure he gets Des Bryant. Letting DeMarcus Ware walk. I don't want to make that mistake again, so I got to sign Zeke. I can't let him walk. At some point, you're not making business decisions. You're making decisions with your heart, not with your head. And I think there are times when he's been very guilty of holding on too long. And then there's times when he overreacts and pulls, just jumps out too quick. Because, look, when he screwed up the first time with Dak and let that go too long and didn't sign him early at what could have been a lower amount, he also made another poor decision, in my opinion, in that he should have signed him early, and he should have gone sort of the way the Kansas City Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes and gone with a longer-term contract so that you can draw it out over time.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we wouldn't be having this discussion right now about Dak. We'd just be talking about CD, and we could get CD's deal done, and then we could concentrate on Micah and get Micah's deal done, and we'd all be eating Fruit Loops in the morning and having a good time. But it's just when you don't have football people making football decisions, it makes it very difficult.
Keith, I want to ask you something. Keith, let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
It's all about staying relevant, right? So you heard our conversation with some callers earlier about the America's team. Are they still America's team? And our conversation about it. The most expensive stadium in the NFL right now is SoFi Stadium down in San Diego, but that's in California. So that's got Los Angeles. It's got the north. It's got San Francisco to the north. There's so much. It's spread out. Here in the most populous region in America, and it's close to the world here, the Texas Triangle. And what's the star on top? That Cowboy star. So he has to dominate San Antonio. He has to dominate Houston. He has to dominate a wealthy state. He's staying relevant. Are you starting to get a little bit more? Am I kind of convincing you that this is intentional? Perhaps intentional?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
I thought I could.
I just think he's a businessman.
Okay. Yeah.
He has too many tentacles around to focus on pure football. Now, why they losing the playoffs, I have no idea. Maybe people are able to pick their plays. Maybe they're too repetitive. They don't come up with anything novel in terms of game plan. but it's not like he doesn't win any big games during the regular season. It's just in the playoffs, if something can go wrong, it does. It's kind of in the Jets posture. Something can go wrong, it does. But it's just frustrating. And when I heard how wealthy his franchise is, yet how little he spends in terms of football matters and manipulating things and getting and other infrastructural players into the fold. The scouting has done some pretty good work getting good players.
Their drafts over the last 5 to 7 years have been some of the best drafts in the NFL. Especially their second, third, and fourth round picks. Now the second rounders, they've taken a few injured guys that some of them worked out a little bit and ended up going on, but they've hit plenty, and their roster shows it. In that state of the team address that he gave back at the beginning, once he got done with his paternity suit, he said during that press conference, they've got 11 All Pros and 14 Pro Bowlers. Yeah. I mean, that's a roster that you'd like to have, but at the end of the day, you're the real. It's what you judge as success. And Keith, your comment that he's a businessman means that he always judges success by looking at net profit at the bottom of the financial statement.
Exactly.
And unless you consider success to be a Super Bowl trophy sitting on your mantle, it's not. I don't see anything changing.
So. Right. And that's the other thing. Now that the new criteria is Super Bowl. I would be delighted for the Jets to win 14, 12 games a year.
Yeah.
I would be delighted as a fan.
That's right.
That means I don't cry every time I go to the sports bar because they're losing. You know?
Right.
So I'm happy for most of the year.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of the things that, we move the bar around. And that's mainly the reporters we move the bar around. Yeah. So that they can stay relevant also.
That's right.
But anyway, I was just interested in, the mom and pop atmosphere for football. Just for football.
Yeah.
That they have in Dallas.
Well, let's wait for the Jerry Jones documentary to come out next year, the one that they shot during last season. Remember, that still hasn't been released yet. By the way, Zeke never released his documentary when he went down to Cancun to work out during his holdout. We never saw that documentary either. But rest assured, you can go out and watch the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader reality show that's on. And then, don't forget that that Charlotte and Steven and Jerry Jr. all work for the organization. So you're right. It's a mom and pop shop. That's what it is.
Yeah. I took a lot of your time, but it's so good talking with you guys.
Hey, Keith, we really appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in.
We'll catch up soon, all right?
All righty, good. I was looking for you the other night, by the way.
Oh, yeah? All right, Keith, we appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks. 512-836-2887 is the number you can call to get your comments in as well. We're going to be talking a lot of NFL over the next several weeks.
Yep.
And so, and you're going to hear those comments about the Cowboys like a broken record. And I mean, it's just, I am being truly honest that so far, a week into training camp, or a week and a half kind of ish, whatever it is. We're 2 weeks out from really the kickoff of the. I know we had the Hall of Fame game partially last night, but really in 2 weeks is when the preseason games start. This is the most apathetic about the beginning of an NFL season I've been in a long time. So,
when we come back, we didn't finish Olympics.
Olympic talk, yes.
Because I've been dying to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard your take on Olympic golf.
Yes.
And I'm curious on your views.
Okay.
And then if we go over the leaderboard.
For sure.
I'd love to hear from you on that.
For sure. Let's do it. The Fans View, KAZI, 88.7, Travis Kent alongside Jamal January and Douglas Washington. We were talking off air about a bunch of different things. You ought to hear sometimes off air.
Yeah, that's the best part of the show.
But I want to get back to a little bit of Olympics talk and see if we can't finish some of that up. 512-836-2887. You can always call and interrupt us if you'd like to, though. But talking about some of the other sports, we got the golf tournament going on. Started yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously, 4 Americans playing in the tournament. Xander Schauffele leads at 11 under. By the way, your defending gold medalist. Your defending gold medalist is leading, tied with Hideki Matsuyama, who shot a 63 yesterday.
Fire.
Yes. Yeah. Hideki's one of the best golfers in the world. I love his swing. He's Mr. Consistent. Tommy Fleetwood from Great Britain, also tied at 11 under. John Rahm. What I like about what the Olympic Committee has done with golf is they have made it so that the countries that have the top players in the world, the U.S. and Ireland and Great Britain and Scotland and South Africa and some of those countries that are traditional golf countries, will have their representatives. So we'll have names we know on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
But then it opens the path for the countries that do have professional golfers, but they toil on lower tours and their names you haven't heard of, but you give them the chance to enter in this tournament, and you end up seeing names, Guido Migliozzi, who plays over on the DP World Tour.
Guido!
From Italy. Vitor Perez, who is actually for France. He got to hit the opening tee shot for France. Names you don't hear on an everyday basis, but then we look at the leaderboard and we see the names that we're used to on the leaderboard.
Yep.
And so Scotty Scheffler shot 69 today, so he is 6 under. The fear here, so we had a lot of rain. They had rain yesterday. Obviously, it was weather delayed a couple of times, made the course very soft. That's why we're seeing the low scores. The weather starting today and into the weekend is supposed to be better weather. It's been hot, and so I don't think it's supposed to be quite as hot. But if we see this course dry out some, I think we'll see the scores moderate a little bit. I don't think we'll see 22 under win this tournament. I think the winner may be in the 15, 16, 17 under range. We'll have to wait and see to see if some of the other names like Jason Day and Rory McIlroy, they're at 5 under. They're in the hunt, but they need those guys at 11 under to stop shooting 65 every time they go out. And so Colin Morikawa is at 4 under, another American. We go down then to Wyndham Clark is the only one who I guess you can say is struggling as an American. He is at +1. He shot 75 on Thursday in those rainier conditions. Came back with a 68 today. So at least he's pulling himself back up the leaderboard a little bit.
So I got 2 things. So listeners, the ladies haven't started yet. They don't start until next week.
They play next weekend, yeah.
Don't worry. We'll definitely go that hard then. I'm just kind of curious, though. If your name is Fleetwood, can I drive anything else other than a Cadillac? You kind of have to be sponsored by them, and you have to drive that, even if you live in Great Britain. I think that's where that's got to go.
It's pretty natural fit, isn't it?
I'm telling you, unless he's made someone mad in that organization, and they're like, "Oh no, forget it." Unless you're like Land Rover or something, and you make him an offer he can't refuse, because the last thing you want is a guy like that expat driving an American car over in Great Britain. That's what a name. I love it. I was just kind of curious. There was a gentleman, CT Pan from Chinese Taipei, was on, and and then further down we did have another Chinese golfer. This is our chance to see other, like you said, Travis, other people. Those were the two that stood out. And I apologize if I'm the only one. I didn't know John Rahm would be representing Spain. I didn't know he was Spanish. I guess I missed that part.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he's representing Spain out there.
Yep.
Okay, that was a shock to me. Did not know that.
Okay.
Did you guys? Are you guys' feeds getting the type of attention that mine is on pistol shooting?
Oh, the Turkish man?
Well, I was gonna go with the Japanese girl because she's supposed to be really cool with the way she does it. Yeah. With her, she wears 2 eyepieces. She kind of slinks into it with a pose that many are saying is anime type. Yeah. But yeah, I would like to offer you guys a little info on the Turkish competitor if you're not familiar. Can I offer that to you?
Douglas, all
right. So his name is Dikek Youssef. He recently took up shooting after a particularly heated argument with his ex-wife. He credits his success to his newfound passion for seeing his kids and a relentless drive to prove his ex wrong. And I quote, "I never thought I'd be here," Yusuf said, shrugging nonchalantly. "I was just aiming for a weekend with the kids." He's 52 years old. He works as a mechanic in a small garage in Istanbul. He first picked up a gun during a particularly frustrating divorce mediation. Now, his unorthodox approach. He wears no specialty gear. Yeah. He has no training regimen. His wardrobe consists of his everyday jeans and a T-shirt. He's baffled other professional shooters. They say he just shows up, shoots a near-perfect round, and then asks if there's a smoking area nearby. So he won silver. And after winning it, he just stood emotionless on the Olympic podium and declared, "Sharon, if you're watching this, I want my dog back." Come on!
Go out with a bang.
He is now my most favorite Olympic competitor ever.
I just love the photo of him, like hand in the pocket, just aiming, glasses on, just there like.
Yeah. 52 years old. If there wasn't for, there was I apologize, I don't have her name. She's Chinese, but she's representing for, I want to say Canada. She's middle-aged, and she's in the Olympics as a ping pong player. Oh. But aside from her and her age, you don't get many. I mean, it's supposed to be a sport for the young and virile, right? But he's 52. Travis, do you think going into the divorce and having those issues, was he thinking, I'm not going to pay a hitman, I'm going to do it myself? Like, what?
It certainly sounds that way.
There's so much that goes into this. So that's a great story. I appreciate you guys letting me give you the background on that. That's fun.
I love the Olympics. Minus the fact that I got to wake up or try and stay up till 3 a.m.
Yes, sir.
To watch the first round of track and field, which is why I can't wait for it to come to L.A. The schedule's going to be amazing.
Last week, judo for my family, we're a judo household, was 3 a.m. and 10 for us. So I'm there. I understand that. Travis, what are you tuning into? For me, I was most excited about judo. Sounds like you track and field. Travis, what's the first thing you go?
Okay, it's a great question. I mean, I like to watch the swimming.
Okay. Yeah.
I had a niece that was a competitive swimmer, and so I don't know. It's the athleticism of the swimmers is. I think it's very interesting. Of course, it helps that U.S. has a lot of really great swimmers. It helps that UT is a great swim program, and I can as a Longhorn fan, I can root on some Longhorns as well. I do love watching the volleyball, not only men's and women's indoor, but the beach as well. It's something that doesn't get, I mean, obviously, because UT's volleyball program actually won the national title here last year, we get, Longhorn Network showed a lot of games, you could watch a lot, but you don't see much men's international volleyball. Beach volleyball it's had their run where they get a lot of TV coverage. It's kind of fallen back now. You don't see it on TV as much. But back when Misty May, and they were the dominant team. We used to see that a lot, right?
Yes.
And so I enjoy watching that.
I enjoy watching beach or volleyball as well too, because the one thing I really like about the Olympics is that you never know who's going to show up.
Right.
And I forgot his name, but there's an ex-NBA player playing beach volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot his name.
He was Minnesota.
Yeah. I saw him dapping up KD and LeBron and all of them. And
he's world class. He played like 6 to 8 years in the NBA, and it was like, hey, I'm going to go back to my love, because he was the number one. He was the National High School Player of the Year. Really? Obviously dominated his state.
Chase Budinger.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, because that was just going to rattle around in there. I mean, honestly, hey, do y'all remember he was in a dunk contest too? Mm-hmm. Listen, man, I know LeBron is LeBron. Mm-hmm. I know we got Kobe, we got Vince Carter, but put that resume up against anybody. Yeah. You were in the NBA, you were in the dunk contest, and you are Olympic level volleyball
player. Mm-hmm. Volleyball player too. Sand is not easy.
Chase Budinger, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Can I go ahead and put that out there?
I don't know if I can give you that.
Who else can make it to the Olympic level in another sport besides Deion and Wilt Chamberlain?
Good point.
It's so cool. Yeah. And I think we've talked about this before. Some of our better basketball players should start taking up handball when you know you're not going to make it to the league. Yeah. And then you could go down on my list as one of the greatest athletes of all time.
I heard an analyst, a foreign analyst one time, and they were asking about how does the U.S. get better in some of those real Olympic style sports, like sports that just have no radar here, like team handball and things like that. Yeah. How does the question was, how does the U.S. get better or something like that? And he said, first of all, he goes, I don't know that you can, because you have too many professional leagues that kids can strive to play for, and that's always going to dominate the airwaves. Where in a lot of other countries, maybe you have soccer and cricket, but you don't have the number of sports that you can go make a living at that the way the U.S. does. He says, but he goes, if you were going to try to get better at it, what you do is you just start compiling a list of college basketball players, and those who don't make it into the leagues or whatever, start recruiting them heavily on the men's and women's side, because those are the best. It is littered on the men's side. It is littered with 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" athletes, and you take those athletes and you train them in another sport. Beach volleyball, team handball, whatever the case may be, if you give them dedicated training, all of a sudden you can make the U.S. one of the top teams in the world. And so, like I said, I don't know that it's ever going to happen. When you have to get them interested enough in it, I don't know that you can always get like a former basketball player. I mean, he's like, I haven't played anything else. Why would I go play something else now? So
I want to drop some names of that. Adam Morrison, probably could have gone and done another sport and at least had a better turnout than he did in the NBA. Although his daughter is supposed to be killing it right now. She's an up-and-comer. Yeah. Hasheem Thabeet. Do you guys remember him?
Yeah.
Again, dominant college player. Probably could have done that. Greg Oden.
The biggest bust in NBA history.
We could have used him for one Olympics.
I was about to say those knees would have broken down no matter what.
At least he would have got one gold, because that's for 2 weeks. He would have been awesome for 2 weeks. That's all you need. Yeah. And we just need that athleticism for 2 weeks.
Do you think long arms can help you in fencing?
Oh, that would be interesting. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Or even kayak.
Yeah.
And not just kayaking, but rowing. Because think about the range and the drive there. Hey, did you guys know that there is a whitewarding? It's a kayak cross as an Olympic. It made its debut.
Oh, I did not know that. No.
So Whitewater Rapids kayaking is in the Olympics.
I'll be dang.
Yeah. So those are some of those things that you see and just like, wow, I didn't know that was in the Olympics. Breakdancing, I feel like it doesn't need to be in the Olympics. Are you guys in favor of it?
I would skew that way as well. I would skew towards it not being a part of the Olympics, but I do know the Olympic and that's why now we have BMX and we have skateboarding and we have all the X Games sports have moved into the Olympics, is because. And I don't blame the Olympic organizers for doing this. They're trying to get a younger audience interested in coming in and watching more sports. And so, from that standpoint, it's hard for me to look. They're trying to drive revenue as well. And they're trying to drive interest as well. Because if it ends up that gymnastics and basketball and swimming and track and field are the only things people watch, then everything else starts to die away. And so the more you can bring in to revitalize, and you never know, maybe some of these fans that go over there to watch the skateboarding go over and watch the team handball and go, man, I had no idea what this sport was. That's pretty cool, so who knows, but you just try to drive interest, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like sometimes they just make like way too many medals, and they're like trying to like just think of ideas. Hey, what should we throw in the Olympics this year? Just to, be able to get rid of some of these medals and stuff like that. But I don't think breakdancing should be a sport in the Olympic Games. But I will be watching it though. Believe that I was.
Were there any moments yet that were jaw-dropping or stood out to you guys? I have one. I was curious if you guys had any. I'll offer mine and give you a second to think. So Alex Yee from Great Britain coming back in the men's triathlon. He was down. I mean, the first event was the
swimming.
Because you come straight from the pool to the bike, and then you run. Okay, so and he was behind. He was out of it. He wasn't even top 16, and then he gets back on the bike and on the run, and it's not a long run. Let's say 6 or 7 miles. When he's in second place finally, and he just blows past the guy that's in first place like he was standing still at the bare end of it to take the gold medal. What a moment. I mean, it literally looked like that guy was standing still. That guy turned around and he was like, what the heck? Where'd you come from? And he blew past him. So that stands out to me. Are there any moments for you guys to this point? I know South Sudan got a lot of people excited over Puerto Rico.
Yeah, they got people excited in the showcase, but then just watching them, the U.S. took it personal.
Yeah,
you can tell. But
look, I'm going to give credit to Royale Ivy, former Longhorn, who's coaching the. He crossed over with Luol Deng, is essentially funding the South Sudan program. Royale Ivy and Luol Deng crossed over at the high school academy they went to. They were in school together for 1 year and played together in high school. So that's where that connection comes from. And of course, Royale is an assistant coach in the NBA. Has designs on being a head coach, was mentioned as a possible candidate when the job opened up a couple of years ago. And so I think he's destined to be an NBA head coach.
With this run, with South Sudan.
But, a team that has no NBA player, but they look I'm not surprised that they look athletic. I'm surprised at how good they look playing basketball.
Yes.
They're not just athletes out there finding a way to score and grab rebounds and things like that. They play good basketball.
Now, for everyone, if you don't know, their point guard is an American. Now, he's naturalized for South Sudan, but he grew up in Ohio.
Yeah.
He did make it to the NBA, and then he went over to China because he said, let me get ready for the Olympics. So when they approached, South Sudan said, hey, we want you, because he knew Luol Deng. Because when this young man played in the NBA, it was with the Bulls. So he crossed paths with Luol. Luol said, hey, we want you to come play for South Sudan. And you guys see how it turned out. We got a call.
Okay, let's jump back into the phones. Hey, caller, you there? Caller, you got it punched up?
Yep.
Caller, go right ahead.
Okay.
All right.
They didn't hang up, but we got the volume up. We'll give them another chance a little bit later.
But I have a jaw-dropping moment.
Oh.
So it was during the men's gymnastics. I don't know if y'all seen it, but when they were doing the team performance.
Yeah.
Kid on the USA team, his name is Steven Nadorosik. Thank you so much. His eye, I don't know the name of the disease. He has something, but his eyes are really sensitive.
Yeah.
But so he was the last one to go for the men's, and he does his thing. He like sits down and like focuses up. Like everybody was celebrating and everything after one of their team members competed and finished his routine. And he was just there getting in the zone and everything. And then he takes his glasses off like he's Superman and goes and performs a great routine to help the USA men's get bronze.
Okay, now I'm going to look him up.
He's a pommel horse specialist.
Yes.
And that's the only reason he made the team, because he's the best pommel. He might be the best pommel horse. He'll be in the event finals coming up that we'll be seeing for the men. Maybe the best pommel horse guy in the world, and was on the team just for that reason. And he was the last athlete to go. And the last event of the team competition, he sat there all day long.
Oh my God!
And watched everybody else go, and he knew he only had one shot to do one routine to help his team out, and he nailed it.
Oh,
so
one job.
Insert Eminem song right then.
Exactly.
You only got one chance to make.
That's right. Hey, caller, you there? Caller, yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, y'all talking about the Olympics and about breakdancing and stuff. I ever wondered, because I used to coach it down here in Austin. I say, you ever thought about making kickball?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some people laugh at it. They used to be like, "Hey, you coach kickball?" But I used to coach kickball down here in Austin, and you know, you got some pretty talented girls. We even had co-ed teams, and it used to get real competitive. I'm just thinking, I mean, you got some things in there in the Olympics like I never heard of, but it's there.
No, I played in an adult co-ed league back in Virginia. Loved it. My team was stacked. We had a bunch of girls who like ran college track, so we had a ton of athletes on our team, and we smoked everybody. But it was still fun, even though my team was packed. I had a lot of fun. And the other teams, some were just recreational, some church teams that came out. Again, we were trying to murder them. But in the parking lot, it was like a tailgate. No one left. We all just kind of hung out. People would bring grills, and it was a fun time. But I did enjoy the actual game as an adult, because I hadn't played since I was a kid.
Right.
But that was fun. And matter of fact, I haven't played since. I'm in agreement. Sir, I'm in agreement.
Yeah, you know, you think about it, even as an adult, you know, even when I was coaching, I used to have friends like, oh, man, ain't nowhere we coaching kickball and these girls going to do all that. And they think, oh, yeah, I'm going to get out here and murder this ball. And you get some girls to push their ball down there and you spinning around because you done struck out. It can be competitive, you know, especially on the co-ed side when we used to do it co-ed too. And we used to travel all the down the Corpus and stuff for tournaments and stuff the same way like we did with the young girls from Pee Wee to teenagers. But I mean, I think that'll be a good sport. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement. I think you hit the nail on the head there. What else did you have, sir? Did you have another point that you want to offer us?
Now, y'all, I already made my point a long time ago about Jerry. Jerry is Jerry. He's got a lot of money. He's just got a lot of money, and it's like one of them things. You're either going to do it my way or no way, regardless of what little Jerry or anybody else wants. The good man got so much money, and everybody else is just like, well, we don't want to lose the money, so we're going to do what Daddy said.
Yes. Hey, well, thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
All right, we appreciate it. 512-836-2887. You can get your calls in as well. You want to go ahead and get the break in now? Let's go ahead. This is a good stopping point. Let's get the break in. We'll come back after that. Heck, we haven't even touched on really men's and women's basketball yet in the Olympics. We all want to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll be back here in 88.7 Travis Kent alongside Jamal January and Douglas Washington. And we'll catch up with Corey Mose again maybe next week, we hope. As Corey is off at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference, so he got to hear Trump speak.
Travis, nothing political, but man, should he have gone?
I see. Okay, I haven't seen the speech.
Okay,
I've seen a couple of clips here and there. I just know when I opened up my X feed this morning, a good friend of the show, Danny Davis, who writes for the Austin American Statesman, commented. He goes, "I guess it's time for me to go back to my black job."
I'm telling you.
We're not going to get into politics or anything on this show. We got plenty of other shows to talk politics around here. But I just thought that was a funny comment. But I hope Corey's getting a lot out of that, meeting a lot of people in his industry. So we hadn't talked about Team USA on the 5v5 basketball side. The USA men are clicking right along. They played South Sudan. We talked briefly before the break about Royale Ivy and that South Sudan program. I do want to mention this, that South Sudan in their first Olympics, they look like medal contenders.
They do. I agree.
They really did look like medal contenders to me.
I'm waiting for what's his name to step up though. Winnie Gabriel, from Kentucky, that actually played with LeBron.
Yeah,
I thought he would be the star of this team, and I'm just completely wrong.
Yeah. So, but Team USA cruising along. I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't think he's made any real comments of any depth about it, but in game one, Jason Tatum didn't play.
Did not.
In game two, he sat down Joel Embiid. Now, a lot of people speculating that, well, South Sudan plays an up-tempo game, and maybe Embiid isn't the best big man in an up-tempo, up and down the floor type of game. I don't know. I think maybe it may be more load management, quote unquote, for some of those big guys. He knows he's going to need all the bodies he can when he gets to. Because look, I think some of the other contenders in the world are going to try to muck it up a little bit and be a little more physical as they get down. That's the only way you're going to try to beat this U.S. men's team. But I just thought it was interesting that he's taking some non-traditional. I mean, look, when you have 12 of the greatest players in the world, somebody's not going to get enough minutes. Somebody's not going to play. Somebody's something. And so I would be interested to see, and I haven't heard because the players really haven't commented on it. Maybe it's no big deal to them, but I wonder if he went to them early and said, "Hey, here's my game plan.
Right.
Here's what I'm thinking." And it'll be they play again tomorrow. Hold on, let me see.
I'm interested to see what that lineup is going to look like because AD started limping at one point in the game.
I think he already said Embiid is in the next game.
So Embiid's in the next game?
Yeah.
I think he automatically said that. I'll say this because you were looking that up. So we know the whole story. Embiid coming from Africa, he could have played with France. Yeah. I think there's pressure because he didn't come back to an African country to play. And maybe that's gotten his head with the Sudan, and then they just thought, because I think we've noticed he's a little sensitive. He's aware of everything that's being said about him, and maybe he was trying too hard or not playing enough of the team game. Yeah. And that I'd have to go back and definitely look at that first game for that because this just came to me after that last game, and maybe that's why Kerr was like, "Hey man, I gotta take you out, brother, but I got you in the next one. But like right now, let me get Tatum in." And I'm just take you out because big man, I want to save your knees. We got this. We got these guys. Maybe.
But talk about seizing your opportunity. Bam. Played out of his mind in that second game.
Yeah.
He was making corner threes.
Yes.
Yeah. I want y'all to know I am more than just a big body. Yeah. I got range. I felt like that's what Bam was doing in that game. Just showing us, I got all this. Yeah. Spoelstra just doesn't even want me to do that because he's got some sharpshooters. Yeah. Those shooters that they got in Miami. But that was a good game.
U.S. plays Puerto Rico tomorrow morning at 10:15.
So. Puerto Rico really needs a better showing.
Jose Alvarado, I think he's on that Puerto Rico team. I could be wrong.
I think he is.
He got hurt. He went down in that game against South Sudan, injured his ankle. Was carried to the locker room, came back, but they were already down and they couldn't come back at that point. So maybe he's better. He's got NBA pedigree for those who don't know, but that Puerto Rico needs this badly.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the women's side a little bit as well. obviously, look, once again, I think the men and women sweep gold in these Olympics. I don't think there's it won't surprise me if they're challenged in the medal rounds, but I think that they'll come through fairly easily. But I watched the WNBA All-Star game a couple of weeks ago when the WNBA All-Stars took on Team USA and beat them, and brought up the question in my mind. I just played it around in my mind when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and really it was publicized as Caitlin Clark, but I think there was a bigger story that Angel Reese was also left off. There were a lot of reasons for it. They just come off a college season. They go right into the draft. They go right into a WNBA season. They played a lot of basketball in the last 4 or 5 months already. But watching that game, it just seemed to me that this newer, younger breed of WNBA player is playing a different game than the older set with Diana Taurasi and the legends that are still playing in the game for Team USA. And I just watched that game, and my eyes told me that if they were in a 7-game series together, that I would favor the WNBA All-Stars over Team USA. And so is Team USA making a mistake by not integrating these younger players, or are we just about to see a big changing of the guard? This is a last hurrah for the older set, and by the next cycle, it's going to be nothing but Caitlin and Angel and A'ja Wilson, and it's going to be nothing except the under 26s, if you will, of the WNBA.
I agree.
I say yes. When you look at the minutes disparity between in the women's side in their last game, which they only won by 13, but it's a win, double digits. 3 players got over 30 minutes, and then everybody else kind of got cycled out, which proves the point that, okay, so all these other names that are up there, maybe you could have had Reese and Caitlin, because you're giving 9 points here, 11 points here, 12 points to Kelsey Plum. She got 12 points, went 1 for 3, and then with 2 points. So I think, these big dogs, Collier, Breanna Stewart, and A'ja Wilson, I think they go away here shortly, and you bring in that new talent. But to leave off the young people, how do you bridge that?
It's hard. I get it. Team USA did not have an easy decision here because
no.
And I think one of the reasons they did leave Caitlin Clark off, and that's the one that was mostly highly publicized, right? I think the reason is because I think Team USA thought there were 3 to 5 deserving players, and it just didn't make any sense to disrupt the roster this close to an Olympics. If this had just been before the World Championships next year, maybe they would have said, you know what, let's go ahead and let's shake up the lineup a little bit. And that's why, I think that the roster for the next cycle of U.S. Women's International Games after this Olympics is going to look much. We may see as many as 8 new faces on that team.
I agree. I think what we were doing here, I'm just going to say it, I think we were giving Diana Taurasi the farewell trip to Paris. That last game, she played 14 minutes. She went 0 for 3, 0 for 2 from 3, 2 fouls, 1 turnover, 0 points. And we need her? No, we don't need her. We gave that to her. She's the equivalent of LeBron. I don't think she's on the other side of 40 yet. I think she's 39. But to your point, Travis, when you got an 18-year-old, 19-year-old that sprints down the court, big difference.
Like I look like Sue Bird, great player over her career, right? It's WNBA Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Is she better than Caitlin Clark right now?
No.
Like, she's at the end of her career. And so I think you're exactly right. I think we're all in agreement here that this is a swan song for 7 or 8 of the players that have been a part of the older set. And I think that Maybe Brianna Stewart is going to hang on. I think she'll be a part of the next group. Mm-hmm. She'll be sort of that bridge she's the younger side of this older group, and so I think she'll then take over sort of the leadership side of the newer group coming in.
Sabrina too.
As well.
Did you guys know? I know it's a little sports related. Sabrina Ionescu, her shoes. Guys were wearing them in the NBA. I don't know if you knew that. And they were a very popular shoe. A lot of places they sold out. Wow. And you can't even get the ones now. They're moving to her second year shoe. Mm-hmm. Very popular shoe. So that tells you a little bit about her popularity, not just to the game, but to culture and to fashion. And so I think we got to keep her. She's still pretty young too, but I think you got to keep her going forward. I'll give you another name, Paige Beckers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the next one she has to be on. Mm-hmm. She's all world.
She should definitely.
And so yeah, there's going to be a big change. I think you're ahead. You're 3 years ahead on that conversation, Travis. You're seeing the future because we got to change it up.
Yeah.
But kudos to us here in America that we could send our old people.
That's right.
And still be like, oh, we're good. We'll take that goal.
Brittany Griner's just taller than everyone, and I love it. Like in that Japan game, she was literally just taller than everyone.
I know. It's funny to watch.
It is. And shout out to Japan too. Japan came out with some scrappies and was playing amazing defense, making USA commit turnovers and everything, and it was a great game to watch at the beginning. But then they turned it up.
you sound like how grandma was like, "Oh, bless your heart."
Oh, bless your heart.
You guys tried. They lost by 5 to Germany. They've been putting up a fight, but no. Yeah. Sorry, Japan.
So do you guys watch any of the indoor men's volleyball?
A little bit.
So
I just love how fast it is.
Oh, I do too, and the power in the game. Mm-hmm. And now I know where all the tall white guys are.
Hey, I have a jump serve, by the way. Now volleyball. I'm a beach boy. I lived at Virginia Beach. I went to school on a beach. I lived in Los Angeles. First thing I did was go to the beach, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, all the time. I'm a beach boy. But yeah, I had one. I still have it. But that's the game.
You're a globetrotter for real, man.
I love
all over the world. Man.
It's you did that because Corey's not here. Because Corey loves to needle me on that. But I'm a fan. I don't even know what I like more, if it's beach or if it's indoor. But I respect the game. And to your point, Travis, there comes a point. See, I'm pickup. I'm wreck because I'm 5'6". Yeah. Because I've been caught, especially. I know a couple of these guys. I'm not saying they're the A team for America, the Olympic team, but I know I played with some boys that looked like if you would have said that they were Scandinavian models, and they were all 6 foot and a foot longer than me, and they were just slamming, and I couldn't wait. I didn't get spiked on, but by the skin of my teeth. So that's exciting. I love the game, man. Yep. That's a good one.
It is the men and the women in volleyball.
What about tennis? Olympic tennis. Okay. So you had Alcaraz and Nadal. Oh, Alcaraz was eating that up. He said, "We're gonna stay friends. Like we bonded." What a great moment.
Yeah, and of course, we probably saw Nadal the last time he'll play on those French Open courts, right?
That was tough.
Team USA took him out in doubles. He goes down to Djokovic, which, by the way, kind of fitting, right?
Yeah.
That we saw Nadal and Djokovic play against. It wasn't a gold medal game, wasn't a gold medal match, but we got to see those two play one more time on the French Open courts for his last singles match. Likely, we all assume he's had so many injury issues lately, and we just assume he's going to. But the USA team ended up taking out Alcaraz and Nadal in the doubles. We actually had an upset in the semifinals this morning, or we could have had an all-U.S. gold medal match in doubles. But Taylor Fritz, his team, fell this morning, so they'll play for the bronze medal. But the team of Ram and I don't know who the two guys that beats, which by the way they're the number one ranked doubles team in the Olympics.
Krajicek.
Yeah,
Krajicek and Ram. Yeah.
They will play for the gold medal. So.
Hey.
But
USA.
Coco Gauff went down early. Clearly emotional about it. Was upset with some of the calls that were made.
Do you believe that one blown call? She did say afterwards that she doesn't think she would have swayed, that she could have turned the tide and won.
Right.
But do you think that a call and an emotional moment can throw you off your game though and kill any type of momentum? Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I do believe. I think it's really hard to come back from something that, because I think it's just nature, and I think maybe there's some people individually that it's easier for them to turn a page in their mind. Yeah. I think a lot of us though, we dwell on things, and it'd be one thing to say that, okay, I got to get past it now, I'll dwell on it later, but I'm going to get past it now. I think in my opinion, most people find it very difficult to move on immediately from something that happens like that, and I think certainly, yeah.
Coco, this isn't a slight on Coco. I love her. My daughter's a big fan. We're a tennis household. She doesn't have the resiliency of a world number one, an American world number one. Clearly, that's my opinion. Mm-hmm. But she's had some really big emotional moments, and it seems like it's just hard on her. And I feel a little bad about that for her because of her talent. Because I think we're going to run into this a little bit more as long as she stays healthy, where she's going to have some big moments. But this is the second time on that court, and it was the wrong call. But that's tough. Yeah. She's not the type that can just flip that switch, and she does dwell on it, and it seems to really eat at her. And I just don't want to see something negative like the Japanese star. What was her name that had to take the time off?
Oh, Naomi?
Yeah. Osaka. Yeah. And see, she needed that. She needed a let's say a mental health break from it all and the pressures. So I don't want to see that with Coco. I'm hoping something. I'm rooting for something positive to help her handle that.
Well, Carlos Alcaraz did win his semifinal match, and Djokovic takes on Musetti from Italy this afternoon.
Okay.
So that match goes off at noon our time. So we could see a Djokovic Alcaraz final, which. Did they just meet in the final at the French Open just a month ago?
Yeah. That's crazy. He's also saying, what's in the water out there in Spain? Gosh, Nadal goes down, and I got to deal with another Spanish dude. It's tough. In the women's doubles, the Spanish team, Cristina Busca and Sarah Tormo, again, it's in the water. Spain, I tell you, tennis.
Yeah.
Good tennis players.
Sheesh. America, let's go ahead and start recruiting over there for some of our college teams.
We actually did at ACU. I remember some of my friends were actually from Spain on the tennis team.
So maybe I'm just behind. Maybe everyone else has already known for the last half decade that there's some talent over there. Mm-hmm. Just like, you say, the basketball courts were packed. The tennis courts must be packed. You need tennis courts, though. I was looking at a breakdown by country, by state, and here in Texas we don't have a good ratio of tennis courts per capita, but you could tell some of the places that do and where we get a lot of our talent from. Now, also population theory, we have a lot of people here in Texas, so that helps us with some Texas players.
That just gave me an idea. We have table tennis, aka ping pong.
Yes, sir.
We have tennis. I think the next Olympic sport is going to be pickleball.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I think it's
you're right.
Because
I think that's a no-brainer.
You bring something. I bet there is. There's. I mean, as many venues are opening up where you can play it and get introduced to the game. It's already it has professional tours now. It has television coverage.
Yes.
I think you're exactly right.
I walked in a Target to buy a set. Cost $60 for a racket.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. At my gym I can check out some paddles, so I haven't bought any. I haven't played that much, but I did play in a couple tournaments with some other people that I work with, and I thought I could out athletic a bunch of people, and I did, until I ran into people who actually had skills, and you can't they have the skill that it takes. They're putting spin on it. They got that placement, and you can't do it, and that's what makes it such an intriguing game.
Yeah. So Alcaraz just defeated Djokovic at Wimbledon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's where it was.
So they did not meet at the French Open, so it's not a rematch of them on clay, but there's a decent chance. I mean, Alcaraz is already through. I think, Djokovic certainly is favored in his semifinal match, so we could see a repeat of Wimbledon, which just ended, 3 weeks ago. We could see a repeat, and they had to just go from grass to clay to play each other. So, which would be interesting to watch, because Alcaraz is, for so long we had Djokovic and Medvedev and Nadal and who am I forgetting? Anyway, Alcaraz is he's the next big thing. I mean, he's already arrived and cementing himself, but Alcaraz is the real deal.
I am very curious if we have the time. So there were 2 people that were not eligible to participate at the World Championships in boxing because they failed the gender tests. And that controversy is here at the Olympics for boxing. Taiwan has one, and the other one is I know the name.
Was it Algeria?
Algeria. Good job. Yes, sir. So what do you guys think about that? If you can't be at the World Championships, and then you can just show up at the Olympics, where else do you get your qualifications?
It's kind of messed up.
I know,
because
that means
championships are what, every 2 years,
and whoever won the World Championship is saying to themselves, "Okay, I earned this. This person." It's a tough. It's hard.
It's a difficult societal question, right?
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with it every day in around us, in our communities, in the country, in the world, and if I'm choosing my words carefully, it's because I want to be as careful as I can. In this individual case, this is someone who was born and assessed the gender of a female at birth, but does have high testosterone levels, and I don't know all the medical, so I'm not going to go much deeper than that. But was born and identifies as a woman on a daily basis.
Yes.
And it's sports this is not new, because we've had we have high schools that are dealing with this and colleges that are dealing with it, and then the world sports are dealing with it as well, of how do we treat someone that it's no fault of their own the way they were genetically born, and I don't know the answer to it, but somebody's got to come up with a solution.
That's it. Because that conversation, gentlemen, is so the IBA, International Boxing Association, used to be part of the Olympics, and famously they split in 2019 amid other concerns that they have of how the Olympic does things. That's we can do a whole day's conversation on that. So they're the ones that are running the World Championships, and so they're the ones who disqualify. 2 totally different organizations, and that is how we kind of get to this point. IBA gives the gender test. Those individuals fail it. Higher levels of testosterone, and then the Olympics, I don't know when they're going to catch up to gender testing, and then we'll see that change.
Right.
The reason I say that is it was not a pleasant experience. I did ask you guys about the highs that you saw, but that was one of the lows, and I didn't like to see the French lady who, after 46 seconds into her match, she decided that I don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
This boxer from Algeria, and then just collapsed in the middle of the ring on her knees, sobbing. I don't know if I've ever seen that, and felt bad. So it's not a good look. And there's a lot that's going to come out of this going forward, because the opening ceremonies got some people up in arms with there. Whether you're religious or not, I think that took on some tones. So just, we had to cover it. I just wanted to know you guys' opinion on it.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
The boxer from Taiwan stands out. 10-year veteran, but she has always been taller and longer reach than most of her opponents, and so that's another reason why it's a big contrast. Another reason why she stands out in her matches. So
do they not do I know they got weight classes and everything. Do they not do that for the Olympics?
They do.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
And they are correctly weight classed.
Yeah.
But there's a physical difference when you look at them,
body composition
in the ring, and it's like I said, it's difficult. Sports is just one of the areas where where we have to learn how to answer the question of what there is to do in this situation. So, but well, we did get Olympics talk in.
Yeah, we did. Man, that was fun. I love the Olympics, and we only get every 4 years. So
here's my one because NBC and the Peacock app, I think, have done a fantastic job of coverage. It's so nice to have.
I was scared.
I was too. The one thing that there's just no solution to this, right? This is not NBC's fault. It's not the Olympics' fault. Is that there's always a couple of events that I have in the back of my mind that I'm like, oh, I kind of want to see that, and then it just blows right past me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was 2 days ago. How did I miss that? Yeah. Because I was concentrating on watching, okay, when's Team USA basketball playing? When's this event? When's, I'm going to watch a little bit of judo. I'm going to watch a little bit of this. I'm going to watch a little bit of that. I watched a little field hockey yesterday.
Hey.
I'm trying to get a mixture. I watched skeet shooting. An American man won the skeet shooting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. So I watched skeet shooting. A buddy of mine who works in the same industry I did is a third-generation national champion skeet shooter. His grandfather and his dad also were national champions. And when he was in high school, he was invited to Team USA camp, but decided he wanted to play high school baseball, so he didn't go.
I got to interview a Amber French. She's been an Olympian, world championship contender, and a skeet shooter. And so I got to interview her and talk to her about that. That was fun. Travis, totally different, but up around your neck of the woods towards Dallas, there's a glow-in-the-dark skeet shooting facility.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you.
That would be interesting.
You guys, you got to give that a whirl.
All right, so we're up against it. We got to get out of here and make way for Giannis.